when we learn to listen to our inner voice, listen to the little nuggets, the little bits about a bite size that we get throughout the day, and we start implementing it and we start taking action and we really allow it to come through, we build up trust with ourselves, we build up trust with our inner wisdom, our inner voice, and we then connect to our authenticity. We connect to who we really are and who we're meant to be and the reason why we're here on this planet today, your purpose, your soul purpose. But that all starts with just allowing yourself to listen and hear that voice come through. I heard a saying once and I thought that's so freaking true, and it is, positivity whispers, negativity is loud, right? The negative voice is so loud, and positivity is this tiny, tiny whisper, and it's so quiet that you can only hear it if you are willing to tap in and listen to it deeply. This is what we're going to do in today's video. We're going to go a bit more in depth in this and how you can really learn to tap into your inner wisdom and your inner voice, your inner being, and start living a life that is fully authentic to you. So first and foremost, I think the reason why we can't hear our voice is because of the negativity in the world and in our lives and the noise. I'm not just talking about, not everything is negative, but the noise builds up this negative energy around us. So if you think about in your day-to-day life, think about when you wake up in the morning. Do you have TVs on? Does your phone go off? Do you have music on? The radio? The radio is a big one, actually. I do not listen to the radio because the radio dictates what you should listen to. The radio is people talking, it's other people's opinions. And in the morning, we're so impressionable and we absorb all of that. Think of it like a child, right? Like a baby. And a young child, we always say they're really impressionable and they absorb everything like a sponge, but so are we as adults. And in the morning, I find we absorb it even more than perhaps later in the day. I always find that, and it always sets up the day for me. So if I was to have the radio on, their opinions and their thoughts and the adverts that come on would be the thing that would be playing on my mind all day, and that would be dictating my mood. So really thinking about your day and the sounds that you're hearing, the distractions in your life, the amount of times we put the TV on through the day, the people we surround ourselves with, the people we talk to and we purposely interact with every day. Obviously the biggest killer, I think you know what I'm going to say, is the phone. You know, you're being on your phone on social media and you're scrolling and it's like, I've got 5 minutes, what do? You pick up your phone, and the first thing we all do is we start going on to social media apps or messaging or read what people have said to us, and we respond, and we've become this responsive and reactive to the world, reactive to everything, rather than being in this proactive state. When we're in proactive mode, proactive is us listening to our intuition, us listening to what we need to be doing and going all in on something. So it's just, in the first instance, pulling back on how much time we're on social media, how much time we're giving to other people, how much time we are allowing negative information to come into us, or just information that we don't really want, or we don't really need to hear, or it's not interesting, or it's irrelevant, really. So start this week, start now even, and think about your day where you allow this stuff to come in. Maybe you hear things at work, like obviously for me, the big things at work is always gossip, always has been, people gossiping. I think it's just such a, it doesn't matter where you go into another office, you can hear it, it's just gossip all the time. And it's removing yourself from that, or using headphones, or just learning to zone out from that. That will help you start lessening and quietening that negative noise that's in our everyday lives, So use this time now and just think about your day and in your week where that noise comes in. Maybe it's on the transport, maybe you don't drive to work, maybe you go on the bus, or the tube, or whatever. Maybe it's that, or maybe it is in your car and you put the radio on. Maybe it's you put certain music on in the morning, certain music with certain lyrics that stick in your head and become quite influential at times. But maybe that's something that you could change and switch to music that's instrumental only, no words, and actually that allows you to quieten the noise in your mind and allows you to learn to listen to other voices that come up, that inner voice within you. So definitely give this a go for the week. Go and track where all this noise is coming from in your life and start looking at what you could start taking out, eliminating, changing, swapping, shifting. Go and do that. That's definitely a task I want you to start with first of all. Then the next thing I want you to do is see if you can start putting in some journaling time or a meditation. Now, when I say this to people, they always think it's got to be like an hour's practice or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm really only talking about 5 or 10 minutes a day to start with. And I would be doing 10 minutes in the morning of gratitude practice. That's always my favorite thing I always give to people. Or a 10-minute meditation. Again, it could be a guided meditation, so you don't even have to really think about what you're doing, and it will also quieten your mind down as well because it's guided. Or just sound, just having instrumental music just to calm down your mind before it goes into overactive ramblings and whatever else is through your mind, and allow that negativity to just sort of slow down so you can start learning to listen to your inner self and your inner voice. So you can do this in the morning, you could do this in the evening, whichever best suits you. I would always recommend the morning, but like I said, it's preference. Start planning your week this week and implement those two things first of all. The next thing we're going to do is start building up that trust muscle. We're going to call it a muscle. When you hear something within you, or better still, you have a decision to make. Start with something really, really small. It could be as simple as, am I going to my spinning session tonight? Or whatever it is to you. Am I going to the gym tonight? Am I going to go have that for dinner or that for dinner? Just start with something really small. And before you make the decision, you're going to take a deep breath in and just calm yourself down. Ask yourself the question, am I going to do this or this? Whatever the question is. And then whatever comes up to you, that decision, go with it. Go with it. And start doing that on a daily basis. That will start building up your confidence. It starts building up the trust with yourself, and your inner voice. Because so often, women have been told that intuition, it's nonsense. It doesn't exist. It's not scientific. There's no proof. It's all theory. There's nothing physical there. You can't see it. But it's such a powerful tool. It is powerful. It's got to be one of the most powerful tools that we have, is our intuition, to know that we're doing the right things. How many times have you gone through your life and you thought, I knew that was going to happen. I just knew it. I knew if I hadn't gone that way, that wouldn't have happened. I knew I should have done that over there. Seriously, how often can we recall times in our life when we've done that? And that's because that's our intuition guiding us, and we shut it down because it didn't come from here. It's come from internal, right? It didn't come from here. Or the better one, it doesn't make logical sense. It doesn't make logical sense, right? If it's not logical or realistic, we tend to ditto things, right? We tend to dismiss it. So learning to really listen to that information and trust it and go with it will help. So making small little micro decisions on a daily basis. So a few times a day if you can, and start building up that muscle. You start building up that relationship with yourself, your inner being, and more will come. I promise you. More information will come up. Bigger stuff will come up. Because then it's like something inside you goes, oh, she's listening to me now. She's listening. She can hear us, It's like that, something inside you goes, she does want to hear from us. Right, come on, let's talk, And building up that relationship, as silly as that might sound, really, really does work. So making small decisions frequently, very frequently, will start building up that muscle and building up that relationship and that trust that you have with yourself. Now, there may be fears that come up, like I said, because your mind didn't come up with that information. We start questioning of whether it's the right decision or we've made the wrong decision. Now, it doesn't make sense. It's not logical. But that's the thing with intuition. It doesn't mean it's always logical. Like, how many times have you heard a story as well of people that have said they've just decided not to go on, this is extreme, right? Decided not to go on an aeroplane, or not decided to go down that road to work today. They've gone down that road, and it just so happened that on the road they would normally go down, or the flight they would normally go on, something drastic and a massive disaster happened, or something horrific happened. Like, how many times have you heard that, right? Like, I wouldn't even like to know how many times in my life, if I hadn't listened to my intuition, I'd have gone the wrong way, or not the wrong way, but gone the way that would have led to something bad happening to me, something really bad, right? Like, and I think that's the thing we always have to keep coming back to, of making this wrong decision. And there is no wrong decision. It's a decision. There's no wrong and there's no right. There's just intuition or your mind. And really kind of letting yourself and allowing yourself to accept that will really help you learn to trust your intuition more. Again, this is something that's built up over time. It doesn't happen overnight, I can assure you. It really doesn't. But there have been plenty of times in my life that I think about it and I look back. There's one really strong in my mind. I've been on a recent trip and I hurt my knee. And I thought about, oh, my knee really hurts. I'm really glad I had knee pads on. I was snowboarding for the first time. And I'm just like, oh, I'm really glad I had knee pads on because it really hurt my knee. And it triggered a memory for me of when I went mountain biking and in a very dangerous part, Death Road in Bolivia. And it's down this mountain. It's very dangerous. It's the most dangerous road in the world because the most people die on this road. And I remember getting ready in the morning and putting on my knee pad, and the knee pad just wouldn't fit properly. It was just frustrating me, and I took it off. And I was not going to wear my knee pads. And something inside me go, put your knee pad on. It was that was it. Put your knee pad on. Okay. And my mind was frustrated because it was irritating me, right? But okay, I put my knee pads on. I put them on. And unfortunately for me, that day I had a big accident. I fell off my bike and I landed slap bang on my knees. Both my knees on this slate hard rock of a mountain. On my knees several times. I bounced on my knees, going at a very high speed. If I had not been wearing those knee pads, I would have shattered my knees. I would not actually really like to think about what would have happened to me had I not listened to that small little voice that just said, put your knee pad on. Yeah. And it was just something that triggered me going snowboarding, hurt my knee, thinking, oh God, that small little voice back then, if I hadn't listened to that, it would have just, who knows? I wouldn't be where I am today with everything else. So I'm sure you have a story. I don't doubt you have a time, a big time or a small time where you can think, if I hadn't listened to my intuition, if I hadn't gone and just listened to that tiny little voice, something horrendous would have happened. Or I would have gone down a completely different path in my life, or I would have gone down over there when, wow, look at my life now, or, whatever it might be. I think we all have stories. I'd actually really love to know if you've got something like this. Let me know a story down below in the comments. If you can relate to this, that there's somewhere that you've had an intuitive thought, you've actioned it, you listened and you actioned, and it stopped a disaster happening, or it stopped you going into a very wrong situation. Yes. That was quite some time ago now, but just the power of the intuition, really, the power of the intuition. So start listening to that small little voice and taking those small little actions every day, and Don't allow your mind to take over. It's that starting to learn to control your mind a bit more and not allow it to take over and tell you, bring in the fears, bring in the self-doubt, bring in reality. Ugh, I hate that word. Be realistic. No, realistic. Nope. You know, and just allow yourself to get more in touch with your inner being and your inner voice. And when we do that, honestly, it's like she rewards us for listening, and she will give you more and more information and bigger information when they know that you can handle it and you can action it. It's amazing. It's an incredible, incredible feeling when you are living intuitive life and fully conscious of the decisions and where you are. It's phenomenal. It's a life that you love. It's being in love with your life. It's being free, and it is just such a big connection to everything in your life. And you show up so well. You show up for your family. You show up for your friends in such a way that you didn't before. And it's such a calming, peaceful energy as well. So if this is something you'd like to do and go further with this, I've got a self-discovery guide that I'll put down below. This is going to help you see where in your life you need to be putting in these boundaries, where you need to be listening to your intuition on what you could be doing to start tapping into that inner world and start making decisions that best suit you. I'll put the link down below. It's completely for free, a guide. Go and grab it now. Start actioning it. Start making some decisions today. Start taking control of yourself and your life and leading forward. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and liking this video. My name is Joanne Moore, and I will see you all in the next video.